KETV Newswatch 7's Josh Kristianto is live at the scene with what we know right now.
That's right, Sarah. We're here on 90th and Military, where we just spoke with a police lieutenant who tells us there was a shooting here at this parking lot. Yeah, this all happened in the parking lot of All My Son's Moving and Storage near 86th and F Streets this morning. Sarah, the urgent manhunt began right here behind me when the body of 52-year-old Stephen Greg Donsbach was discovered. He had been shot to death inside the home.
First, Josh Kristianto is live with reaction from students and support groups. Josh?
Look, when you see it, it's important to note that Nebraska law already bans affirmative action in its public universities when it comes to admission. That applies to race and gender. If you would like to submit a protest with Douglas County, you can do so online, by mail, or in person. Yeah, Alex, hundreds of people came out to the event at Bud Crawford's home gym, B&B Sports Academy in North Omaha. That gym being the sort of symbol of pulling yourself up from the challenges knocking you down and succeeding. Bill, Julie, property owners already filed more than 2,000 protests with the Douglas County Board of Equalization. The clerk is expecting thousands more before the June 30th deadline. And we're talking with one homeowner dealing with a staggering increase. This is the second annual Airboaters event for veterans here in North Bend. And this year, they're unveiling a memorial that was only recently discovered after it was made 25 years ago. OPPD says their infrastructure is ready for any summer heat wave, even as the Southwest Power Pool places the region under a resource advisory. With the new mental health treatment unit approved, the Douglas County Jail will soon be able to treat the most severe mental health cases in a facility designed for that purpose. As your property valuations increase, so do your property taxes. And for many people here, it's beginning to become too much. These 93 acres are currently just farmland, but the city is hoping developers can turn it into their newest neighborhood. The emerald ash borer only attacks ash trees. And while that's bad news for this guy, it's good news for trees like this one. This nearly 1 acre of land is only a parking lot and a community garden right now, but soon it could be Old Market's favorite park. A day-long Omaha police investigation into an early morning homicide ends just outside Iowa Western Community College. The suspect, 42-year-old Matthew Briggs, shot and killed by police. It began with a domestic assault call at a southwest Omaha home around 5:40 Saturday morning.
It was at a different residence in southwest Omaha. There was also an additional domestic violence incident where the victim was not home at the time.
That call leading to a welfare check at this house near 97th and Essex Drive in Regency.
Officers made entry into the residence and located a white male victim down inside the residence, apparently deceased by gunfire.
That victim, 52-year-old Stephen Greg Donsbach. Investigators already had a suspect in mind, naming Briggs as a person of interest in both the domestic assault and the homicide.
The door was not unlocked. There was forced entry to the house.
They also identified Briggs' car, a 2005 red Buick Century sedan with his license plate number. A patrol unit found the vehicle abandoned at Mandan Park off of 13th and Railroad Avenue. About an hour later, our KETV reporter witnessed the beginning of a police chase involving Briggs. We learned later Briggs had carjacked someone south of the park and led officers on a 100-mile-an-hour plus chase through Nebraska and Iowa along I-29 and other roads, weaving in and out of traffic. It all ended right here in Council Bluffs in front of St. Patrick Catholic Church.
At which time officers fired their weapons. Immediately after that, the officers provided medical care to the suspect. He was transported to the University of Nebraska Medical Center, where he was later declared deceased.
Iowa's Division of Criminal Investigation is reviewing the officer-involved shooting. We still don't know the suspect's relationship with the victims, nor the motive.
The coordination and collaboration between all the jurisdictions has been absolutely phenomenal.
Debris after debris. As neighbors pick up the pieces, one homeowner recounts the harrowing experience she had on Saturday.
We looked out the window and it was dark and we saw stuff flying through the air, and my boyfriend said, that's pieces of a house, get to the basement. So we got to the basement and he had to pull and hold the door shut because it was trying to open on him.
It was over in a minute, but it's the closest she's ever been to a tornado.
I just said, we need to pray, but I didn't know if we were going to make it out alive,
Sunday morning, shocked and overwhelmed, Mandy Jurgensen is wondering how her red truck moved from where she parked it to her neighbor's driveway. Even more surprising, her house is still intact. though unlivable now.
I don't know how it's still standing. We're about one of the only houses on our road that's still standing.
Right here, you're seeing a large section of a tree that has come to the ground. You can imagine just the force that the tornado had to take this down. And right over there, you can see chunks of metal debris as well. It could have contributed to bringing this tree down.
Many other homes had roofs missing. Some were gone entirely. A destruction hard to make sense of, but not to do something about.
We just came down to help. That's just something we want to do. We can do.
Dozens and dozens of neighbors, friends, and just plain Samaritans pouring out their goodwill to help a person in need. It's the showcase of goodness that keeps Mandy smiling.
We know we're not alone in this, so.
Reporting near Winterset, Iowa, Josh Kristianto, KETV Newswatch 7. 3 years after Michael Corcoran died in a motorcycle crash in Omaha, his 3.5-year-old son Beckett celebrates Father's Day by opening gifts that he made at school for him at his dad's grave.
That's what he gets. He doesn't get t-ball with his dad. He doesn't get to fish with his dad. He doesn't get his dad to come to his graduation.
Police say Corcoran was traveling on I-480 near F Street when he was hit from behind by Brenda Berger, who was on her way to work as a nurse. Police found alcohol in Berger's system, but it wasn't high enough for stiffer charges. Berger ended up serving 21 days in jail with 2 years probation.
Beckett lost the most. He lost the most. And he's paid the most. But you know who's paid the least? Brenda Berger.
But Berger's probation hasn't been up to par, according to court documents we've obtained. Her probation officer states she's been, quote, drinking nonstop on a daily basis, won't report to the probation office, or follow through with any treatment recommendations.
I felt like that was a gift to be given rehab paid for by the state. And to squander that and walk away and throw it all away again was heartsick.
A judge revoked Berger's probation in June, and she was arrested in late July on a $100,000 bond. She's now been ordered to serve 350 days in jail. Corcoran's family says it's still not enough, arguing Nebraska's justice system enables offenders like Berger more than it defends victims.
What's next? You know? What's going to happen in 350 days?
The Nebraska State Auditor says the retirement fund for Omaha Public Schools employees is more than $1 billion short. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bill Shammertz.
I'm Julie Cornell. Mike Foley's office looked into the Omaha school employees' retirement system. The report shows the fund only covers 57% of its obligations right now.
Foley says OPS needs to find a new way to fund its promises for the pensions of more than 15,000 current and former workers. KETV Investigates broke this story this morning. Josh Kristianto is here with the report and the response from the district. Josh?
Bill, Julie, the shortfall has indeed grown up from $430 million nearly 10 years ago. But before we get into that report, we need to address the key question on the minds of OPS employees tonight. Are their retirements at risk? OPS says they are not, and their benefits and contributions will not be changed. But Mike Foley says the district does need to change how it funds the accounts. It's a staggering shortfall.
Right now, we calculate that they're about $1 billion short.
Nebraska State Auditor Mike Foley says a myriad of accounting errors and poor investment outcomes have led to the highest net pension liability ever at OPS. The audit report details how incorrect calculations of interest earned created excessive balances in OSER's member accounts. In 7 of the 25 accounts tested, auditors found errors exceeding $2,000. Some were over $3,000. All these errors totaling in the millions.
If you're going to promise the retirees a nice retirement system, a good retirement pension benefit, you've got to make sure the money's there to cover that future liability. And right now, that money is simply not there.
We reached out to OPS for comment. The district sent the message it shared with staffers, which reads in part, "We take the auditor's feedback very seriously. We have taken all necessary steps to deliver the best possible service for members, including adding staff and implementing additional reviews and procedures." The state is now stepping in. They'll take control of OSER's day-to-day management starting late next year, but OPS still has to fund it. One of our Facebook commenters says they're relieved and hopeful about the changes. Foley says the district has to get very serious.
The district has to pony up more money into the plan, and that's going to be an obligation of the taxpayers ultimately in Douglas County.
And while the auditor's goal is to make sure the retirement fund stays solvent, he's also calling on those account holders to make their concerns heard before the district administration. Back to you. Whether it's chicken on a stick,
Ooh, it is buffalo, it's really good.
or a flight that takes you through a full spectrum of colors,
The tacos were great.
all these delicious delights may just leave your taste buds spinning.
They were like chicken tenders, kind of. A little bit of spice to them, and the white meat was fantastic, like really tender.
Midtown Crossing street food tour getting rave reviews. And a thumbs up from the food bank for the Heartland, collecting the basic essentials for people in need during the event.
Some come with multiple bags, some come with, single or a handful of cans. We're grateful for every piece.
Yeah, we hope to make this an annual thing just so people kind of get it on their calendars in the spring.
Pa Moss Taqueria and Grill joined in on the street food tour, and it wasn't just corn on the menu there.
There's lots of different places you can try a little bite and see if you want to come in and try a whole meal.
Each restaurant also getting a voting bin to see who's the favorite. But when it comes to these foodies, there's no waiting until next year for more.
There's so many places around here, so I'm all up for trying new things, especially when it doesn't cost too much and I can try a lot of different things.
Josh Kristianto, KETV Newswatch 7. Batters ready.
We're getting beat.
Win or lose,
This is my first time here.
Yeah, this is great. I love it.
having fun is always in the strike zone. These two 13 and under teams, one from Arizona,
For us, they're the Jags. So Canyon View Jags.
one from Colorado Springs.
Yeah, catamounts, but cats, sure, yes.
The stakes are as much about victory as they are about learning to lose well.
Baseball is the greatest sport. It's a game of failure. And so, in life, we're going to fail. And, people could sit around and sulk and put their head down, but baseball is not about what just happened. It's about what you're going to do next.
The thing that we've been working with probably most with this team is that they need to control what they can control, which is their energy and effort, right? And then they have to stay focused mentally.
For spectators, it's all about cheering on that home run hit.
Just watching how many plays they make and watching kids just get good hits and being proud of themselves. It always shows good teamwork.
And while the ball games take center stage, catching that shade
I love the warm weather, usually, that's associated with baseball, so I love that.
will knock your time here out of the park.
This is not really hot for us, but it's nice. It's humid, so that's cool.
Reporting in Council Bluffs, Josh Kristianto, KETV Newswatch 7. For kids with disabilities, one splash in the pool could be the first jump into a more independent life.
We found that it really helps their psyche as well as their motor planning, their confidence, and just their overall happiness and well-being.
Occupational therapist Megan DiDulo founded All Inclusive Aquatics because she's seen swimming's value all her life. But it was one little girl who inspired her to take the plunge and start this all.
My daughter Elizabeth has a diagnosis called trisomy 9 mosaic. That means that she has 3 of the 9th chromosome and some but not all cells in her body.
Elizabeth is nonverbal and hard of hearing, and her muscles aren't that strong. When DiDulo became Elizabeth's nanny, she was determined to get her swimming.
We started with 5-minute sessions in her backyard swimming pool, and now she's up to tolerating 30 minutes for a swim lesson.
Now she's an absolute fish. She loves it. We've spent all summer in the water, and she can move around the pool by holding on to the edge.
In a grand show of progress, Elizabeth is actually competing in an adaptive swim meet here with 16 other kids. With a helping hand from some other swimmers, she's made it to the finish line. And for the families here, it's a sight they'll never take for granted.
I am super proud of her and how far she's come, and super proud of Megan for putting this opportunity together so that we have something to give our daughter so that she can participate in.
For 6th grade ancient civilizations teacher Amy Ahrens, there's no place to be but in the classroom. But after a breast cancer diagnosis changed her life 4 months ago, she's only able to spend half the time with her students.
I was blindsided. Like, you get that first phone call, my doctor's office called and said, oh, we got the results and there's a little tumor on there. So that, I didn't have any warning. Your stomach drops.
Within 6 weeks, Ahrens was on chemo, with surgery coming up and more treatments till the end of next summer.
It's changed everything. As a teacher, that was my first concern was, am I going to be able to keep working? And I've been lucky. I've been able to keep working.
Ahrens has lost most of her hair now, a side effect of the chemo, Little did she know, though, Kenzie McDonald found out about her cancer battle and decided to shave her own head so that her favorite teacher wouldn't feel so alone.
I think that Miss Aarons thinks that she doesn't know yet if she wants to walk around with no hat on or anything yet, but that's also why I shaved my head to tell her that you don't have to wear a hat, you can show it off.
Kenzie came in to see me the next morning and she took her hat off, and I was expecting a short little haircut, and she had completely buzzed it.
It didn't stop there. Students wore pink for breast cancer awareness on Wednesday to support Aarons and 2 other staff members battling cancer right now. It's something McDonald hopes warms her teacher's heart.
She might start off in a bad shape that she doesn't like, but she'll come out just as she was in the beginning.
Josh Kristianto, KETV Newswatch 7.